So delivering a full body Reformer Pilates session. So the warm up is a nice little squat, moving into abduction at both legs as a progression, and then into a single leg deadlift with a little bit of a pulse as the progression as well. Moving into our first main phase exercise, we have a red and a yellow spring on. So it's right foot on the platform extender, left foot on the box. It's a little split squat, and then you can add a little push away as the progression, 6 to 8 reps, and we'd alternate sides. Moving into our second exercise, it's a little bit of a sort of two in one exercise. You drop your back foot towards the floor into your skater, and then your second exercise in this series is your curtsy. So left foot forward, right foot push the carriage away, and you can stay in the squat position as the progression. So once you've done these 2 exercises, you'd flip and do the opposite way. Moving from here, we'd do a short box plank movement, introducing a small mountain climber, showing control, keeping the hips level. Then we'll keep into a little bit of a sort of leg exercise. So your back leg is on your foot bar, progressing to hands on your hips. And your little progression at the end, you can add a little stand-up exercise and then pull the carriage back in, avoiding the bands. Into a seated series where we'll start to introduce some rear delt work. So sitting tall, squeezing your shoulder blades together, introducing the X shape before we start to hold a V-sit and doing that rear delt sort of lateral raise movement, showing it's controlled. Into some oblique work to get his obliques firing, that little rotation. Introducing standing exercise if you want the progression. You'd obviously do the same on the opposite side. Then we'll start to introduce a little bit of his pec work as well. So sitting tall, imagine hugging a tree, into a little press as well. So keeping your elbows narrow for one, and then nice big wingspan for the second. Popping your loops back where you found them. Moving his carriage into a long box just off the side of the Reformer. It's a nice squat to start with, and then introducing that little bit of a kick across with a little press away with the weights. Dropping into a nice stretch with your knee on your carriage, tucking your head between your shoulders. Then introduce your traditional skater, so you're pressing the weight and the carriage away at the same time, and then it's more upright, and you can add a little rotation, keeping the carriage out, rotating the top half of your body. You can raise your heel as the progression. Just to break this up, we'll put hands in short loops and add a little bit of sort of reverse crunch, so bringing your knees to your right shoulder, then your left, coming out of the exercise, keeping your head pressed into your carriage. Second variation of this exercise would be your full crunch, keeping a gap between your chin and your chest, a little pause at the peak to show it's controlled, and then it would be walking your box around to the other side of the Reformer to do the 2 side long box exercises. Introducing a little bit of a closing phase or a little bit of core work, it'll be a push up and then moving your Reformer away. You can do this from your knees or a full standing, whichever variation, as long as it's controlled. Into flexing the spine, followed by some nice extension, dropping your hips towards the foot bar, taking your band off into a nice lunge position, open your hands towards the ceiling, heel to bum if you've got the range of motion, and then it'll be exactly the same on the opposite side. So raise your hand to the ceiling, bring your heel to your bum again. Again, you can keep it flat on the carriage if it's more comfortable. Then legs are tall, hands off your foot bar, 1 vertebrae at a time, stacking your head back up, and then stretching as rear delts. Bring your hands up towards the ceiling, onto your tiptoes, test your balance, and that is everything.